Right. It is 9:01 a.m. U.S. Pacific, not Standard Time, a daylight time here in Los Angeles. And let me check the audio feed. It's Wednesday, March 15th, 2023 AD. Is it the Ides of March? Somebody said something about Ides of March. Is that some pagan thing? And we cherish women, especially based women.
Trans women should be legally treated as women. Tell me why you're strongly disagreeing.
Because I'm a molecular geneticist.
Oh. Well, okay, so tell me what that, because I count on my fingers. I know nothing about genes.
Being male or being female is a developmental process. You can't go backwards. Okay. So you can't change your sex. Like, you cannot do that. And the truth is that currently in California prisons in other parts of the country, women are getting impregnated by other women, and there's just no way that, I mean, this is against the UN. After World War II, there was like I don't remember what body came up with this statute, but it was against, I believe it was the Hague. You cannot house female prisoners with male prisoners because they get raped, and that's happening today. And it's not in the news. It's not in the common news. Okay. But I know about it.
So that's the argument for. So I just want to make sure I'm clear about this. So your argument is because you have domain-specific expertise as a molecular geneticist, and then the legal component of that is you're grounding that in your experience of what a man is and what a woman is.
Yeah. I'm sorry. This bothers me so much.
Well, that's why we're talking about it.
Yeah, I know. My heart pounds, and I go to the women's changing room at my gym, and there's a dude in there. He's putting on makeup and hoop earrings, and this is not something a woman does when she goes to work out.
To work out.
And it's frightening. What am I going to do?
Well. So that's behavior is not common in women's rooms?
No, nor do women beat each other to death, but men do. And it's so sad that women have internalized misogyny to the point where the man's comfort takes precedence over the woman's safety. There's a reason why they don't want to be in men's prisons, because men beat each other to death. Women don't do that.
Were you convinced by anything she said about putting men in women's prisons?
I have a rebuttal.
Please. So you're asking her if she, I want to make sure I understand. So you're asking her if she has a problem with women going into men's prisons.
Yeah, or men's changing rooms, going to gyms.
Women cannot force a pregnancy on a man.
You already gave two examples, like Fallon Fox in MMA, or Leah Thomas in swimming.
Those are reasons why I'm happy to be here. Now, if changing your driver's license also caused harm, I would move to strongly disagree. So if there's
okay, that's okay. Yeah, okay, I got it. Okay, what would cause you? What, if anything, would cause you to move to the disagree? And is there anything you heard here tonight that would convince you to move one line over? Okay to say no. I'm just trying to figure this out.
No, I have figured it out.
And you're confident?
I am as confident as I am that this is my hand in front of my face instead of yours. There's absolutely. This is the most insane thing that has ever happened to me in my life, that women are feeling now. And that, as for the driver's license thing, if a man who has transitioned, has F on his driver's license, and then he gets arrested, they're going to put him in a cell with women. And his hands are stronger, his body is stronger, and he can beat that woman to death.
Fair enough. Yeah. No, that's a.
Wow.
Wow. Whoa, based! And we use the term loosely, don't we, nowadays? Because the standards of based have become so low. Guys, we're going to be covering internalized misogyny. This feminist woman is not based. She's just saying something that's somewhat commonsensical. Somewhat. It's a little bit off base, to be honest. But it's ridiculous. And I will cover those blacks and the DC, the HandsOffDC rally that happened like a week or two ago. Hate covering the old news. And those blacks that ransacked the Queen's restaurant, it's also old news. Say it with your chest, Hake, your audio is low, says it's the real Mr. Mad. Okay, thank you, man. Thanks for the heads up. I don't know if that's true or not. But thank you, man. Maybe the clip was too loud, and that would be Hake's fault. Or something going on. Can't figure it out. Maybe we blame Bill. Let's blame Bill. He's not here. Audio is low, says loves soda, does not like juice. Oh. Okay, yeah, sorry, guys. We don't know what to do with it. Would you be surprised to know your hand is actually under this card? Woke Magician probably. Boosted me a bit. Thank you, Nico. All that and your calls, if you would like to call in. Maybe I'll just yell. But anyway, guys, let's get right on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey, guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. Yeah, that was a 4-minute long clip. I wanted to get it out of the way. I am wearing my another green t-shirt. JLP asked me, is that the same t-shirt you were wearing yesterday? I'm like, no, that was California. This is Forest Home. And it is a bear, scribbled bear. It says Forest Home on it. Outfitters. It's a little faded, but on the monitor over here, it looks all neon. I like it. It's cool. Wearing green every day because JLP made a comment. I'm like, okay, fine. I think I'll do green every day then. This Friday is that one guy, St. Patrick, his day. It's when the degenerate people celebrate the worst parts of the Irish, getting drunk, watching soccer, known as football by the un-American people. I don't know if they do that, actually. I know they get drunk. Don't do that, kids. Cover your ears. And it looks like a bushel of green pot, says it's the real Mr. Mad. No, it's scribbles, man. We don't do that stuff. We're not Kumar, that not morally straight guy who interviewed Sleepy Joe Biden. So, yeah. We cherish the Irish. We cherish the Irish like we cherish the women, don't we? Even though they're not normal whites. Shout out to the Irish. Maybe I should bring in the producer, because I heard he may or may not be Irish. I don't know. On Friday. And Thursday is the Women's Forum, by the way, ladies. Third Thursday of the month. 1/3. Oh, okay. Oof. So he's 60% white. 66.6% white. Today is the Bond Archive Sunday service premiere. It's going to be cool. Who are the wolves in sheep's clothing? I remember that happening live. And we fixed the audio on the Odyssey, by the way, guys. So, let me get started here with a call. How about? You can call in 888-775-3773, 1-888-775-3773, even overseas via Skype. Keith in Illinois is on the line. Keith, thanks for calling, man. How you doing?
All right, hey, how are you, buddy?
Doing fine, thank you.
Yeah, I had a comment or two. You know me, I always got a comment.
Nice.
I know that when you watch TikTok or YouTube, black guys and black women are always resisting arrest. It's so simple.
Yeah.
Just show your ID, right?
Yep.
Just show the copy of your ID, and you can actually go home. There's no problem.
True.
No situation. They turn it into some emotional battle because they listen to liberal media, which don't care nothing about them, don't pay their bills. Okay, they don't care if they're sick. They don't care about their neighborhood. They don't care about if they're how they're doing, or they don't put any money into their neighborhood. They don't pay anybody bills. But these people worship this liberal media. They get caught up emotionally because they ain't got nothing but a female spirit. These guys are just raised by their mamas and grandmas, have a female spirit. They wind up getting tased, okay, and going to jail.
Yeah, and what? Going to jail? Yeah, yeah. It's so crazy. They claim, oh, the cop killed him over a traffic ticket, or they got arrested over the not using their blinker, like Sandra Bland. Sandra Bland, she didn't use her blinker, so she got pulled over by a polite white cop who said, "Can you put your cigarette out for me, please?"
Right. I've seen it many times on TikTok. All the guys say, "What's up, buddy? How you doing?" Oh, I'm all right. The black guy's already emotional because he's a feminist. That's all he is.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, why you stop?" And so just saying, "Let me see your ID." Now, if a black person called the police on somebody else that looks, suspicious in their neighborhoods and, somebody's around their vehicle, they expect the police to respond and ask questions.
Yep.
But can't nobody ask them no questions. It's like they are such hypocrites. I mean, they it's like society gonna get pretty just tolerating on these people for so long because they expose themselves for being just so uncivilized when they can make it so simple and it just make life so easy for themselves and everybody else.
Yeah. It's true.
Now they got a police record, resisting arrest, so next time they get into an incident, that's on their police report. And now they got to pay a fine to get out of jail. It's just like they just over-emotionally, and these liberal media, like I said, do you see the liberal media now handing out laptops or, building trade schools? Do you see the liberal media bringing, food to a food bank or they don't do nothing for these people but use them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. And you brought up they're always resisting arrest. I've shown stats from, or at least an article that had a stat in a San Francisco gate that over in San Francisco 1 year relatively recently, they said that, and this is the liberal media admitting this, that blacks were cited for resisting arrest at a rate 8 times the amount that white people were cited for resisting arrest.
Or Hispanic, or Asians, or anybody.
Yeah,
I mean,
8 times.
Me for ID. Listen, if he asked me for my ID, I just don't understand. He didn't ask me to give him a $50 bill. He didn't ask me to, like soft shoe for him.
Yeah.
He said, "Sir."
Right.
He said, "Sir, can I please see your ID?"
And Sandra Bland, that woman from out of state, like in the Midwest, further north, she came down to Texas and got into that argument argumentative with the cop, and she's like stepping on his foot and being all rambunctious, meaning resisting arrest and acting crazy. And she's the one who's like won't step out of the car. You had to pull her out of the car, as I recall. And then so she got herself arrested over that crazy behavior of herself, being all because she's so miserable and she's so trained to hate the police. Yeah,
that's what it is.
And then she goes and allegedly she committed suicide in jail because her friends didn't bail her out.
All right, so here we go again. It's like and the liberal media will put the emotion in and spin the lies and get these blacks all emotional, and not really don't realize any facts. Well, I've seen this young black man say, "Facts ain't everything." Yes, it is, Mr. Sir, a female. Facts are everything. That's a feminine mind, facts, but facts ain't everything. And number two, these entertainers and athletes, they don't care nothing about black and brown. And, these black people be worshiping them. I'm like, did they pay your bills? Did they put a laptop in one black student, and it's just like they don't even buy one laptop? Do they send them funds to to regenerate these dilapidated schools in the inner cities?
Yeah.
Do they come down and hand out food? They don't do nothing, and these people worship them. You look at Obama. Obama's getting a $500 million library built in Chicago.
Oh, goodness. That's the presidential library, huh?
Right.
Lord.
They don't build any trade schools. They don't build, learning centers. They don't do nothing. And these people have been taught to worship the people that just really don't care whether they live or die, eat or drink. They don't even care. And they seem to worship these people. And I just this don't make any sense to me.
Yeah. It's, people really, I don't believe that there's any such thing as thinking for yourself or even self-control. I think the Bible says that the Spirit, God gave us a spirit of self-control, of self-discipline, of a sound mind. But we have a spirit of fear, and they have a spirit of fear, timidity, and the whites have the spirit of timidity, and the blacks have the spirit of anger, which is, I guess, all the same thing, like JLP says in his great monologues, including even today on his show. But so they have no, they really cannot help it. It's wild. It's asking too much to comply, as Lisa over on Facebook says. Comply. That's asking too much of them. And so
it's just a simple show your ID. I mean, it's just how simple is that? I mean, so and I look at it like I say, and I noticed the black entertainers or the black, who are entertainers, I guess.
Yeah.
The word brother and sister. We ain't nobody's brother and sister.
I know.
Most people, black people, even like their own brothers and sisters. It's all a scam and a con game. And it's it just they put black people, the liberals and the elite blacks and everybody else, just use, black people for their godlike status, and they look down on them as just nothing but peasants.
Yeah.
And they just worship them like they're really gods. And it's so sad that they live in such conditions. I mean, crime, poverty, just a hell. And these people live like gods. And it's just they've been convinced by the liberal media to worship them and to do what they say do. And when all they do is suffer behind it, it's just so far a crazy scenario that I don't understand why everybody's not speaking on it. That's just my point. I'm just sad to say that.
Yeah.
But I appreciate letting me speak. It's just I don't know. They just don't want to simplify nothing. It's like they just want to live in hell. Just to be people can say, they just want you. You can try to reach down your hand and bring them out of the hell. They will try to pour you into the hell. The average black person just wants to live in hell.
Yep. And that's what JLP says, and it's so true. This is what we prefer. And I think Jesus even said it, the old wineskin is better, and they don't want to even try the new wineskins. And that's all of us. That's why it kind of rings true, because I can kind of relate to that mindset in different ways, And
my thing is, you cannot please people that want to live in hell. You cannot please them. You can give them every award. You can give them every big contract. You can give them the White House. You can give them the country. You can give them the moon. You can give them the world. You're wasting your time. Just stop already, because they will take you in the pits of hell with them and hold on to you, and so you can suffer with them. And just tell people, stop it, hold people accountable.
Yeah.
Quit trying to kiss their behind.
Right.
The reason why most black people don't get along, because the other black person wants you to kiss their behind.
Right.
We don't get along.
It's a woman mindset where you enable the evil and you encourage the evil. I was listening to the Jesse Lee Peterson show, and he's talking about how this guy with the baby voice, Jamal from somewhere, was talking about his wife was babying the baby too much, responding too quickly every time the baby cries, training the baby to be bad, and he was training the woman to continually challenge him because he's trying to prove something to her or whatever, trying to convince her or something. So this is what we're doing with the blacks by kissing up to them and not telling them the truth and saying no. And I say stop it.
And now you got young white people that's getting on board too. I ain't got to show you no ID. You know, you cops, I hate you. They joining. You know, the liberal media got them joining. You know, the blacks that are thinking this way, which is totally wrong.
Yeah.
And they're bringing these young whites into their hell. You know,
I know.
The liberal media is not, listen, people, the liberal media is not your friend. They're only here to control you and destroy you. They don't care nothing about you. These reporters don't bring no money to your community. They don't, you know what I mean? They don't, you know,
and money wouldn't help.
Talk about education. They never talk about bringing education, job training. They never talk about anything that's going to help. They just talk about things that make them angry. They keep them on the plantation, and they love it. Listen, these people love it. Walk away from them. You can't help them. I'm a 64-year-old black man.
Nice.
I've tried to help them, but it doesn't work.
Nice.
Walk away and don't look back. But thanks for letting me say what I have to say.
Scott Adams is right.
Yes.
Hashtag walk away. Thank you, Keith. I appreciate you, man.
All right, buddy. You too. I'll take care.
All right. Nice. Whew. Yes, I am on Jesse Lee Peterson's network. It's the real Mr. Mad, who gave me one of my watches, which is now in good hands, I believe. Was asking, wait, is Hake on Jesse Lee Peterson network or something? Indeed, I am. And by the way, did you catch Joel Friday TV? I asked Joel Friday TV to let me know, Joel Friday, his name is not TV, to let me know when he has the audio podcast available. People like audio podcasts, and so some of our network is not yet on, they're dragging their feet about getting on the audio podcast. It's a lot of work, I guess. It's tough. It's tough for these young whippersnapper millennials. I'm an older millennial. Maybe even old millennial. I just turned 40 a year and a half ago. Means I'm 41 and a half. Podcasts. Psh, says Nicolas, who is manning the board, sitting in for Hassan, for whom we pray. Thanks again, Keith in Illinois. Before I get back to calls, let me share a little bit of this information. I got this tip from a Big Bump, who is coming back on in the next holiday, which I guess St. Patrick's Day is not a holy day because this is an appeal to authority, right? It's not a holy day holiday because the feds don't honor it. Only the federal holidays and state-accepted holidays are the real holidays, which means Easter and Good Friday are not federal holidays and state holidays either. You know, these corporate people who don't respect Easter or the St. Patrick, who is not Irish, by the way. He preached to the Irish, apparently not enough, because they turned Catholic and drunk and criminal and slave. But that's okay. We love you, Irish. Daily Mail, go woke, go broke. This is from the 14th of March, Pi Day, yesterday. SVB, Silicon Valley Bank. That's that bank that crashed. They hired a board that was obsessed with diversity. Invested $5 billion, I guess, dollars, BN, is that short for billion, for a quote-unquote healthier planet. Do they mean fatness healthy, less fat? Shout out to the fat people. Maybe. And, or maybe I think they probably meant that. Or maybe they meant the climate propaganda and held a month-long pride celebration. Oops, I didn't get my spittoon first. I don't think I actually spit, hopefully, except for incidentally. But had no chief risk officer. I didn't even know there was such a thing as a chief risk officer. She was not replaced. There was a woke risk officer who was a female, a black, like an Indian. She's mildly attractive. Lord, how do I go full screen here? Man. I'm trying to get the screenshot for you guys so that you can see. Man. Okay. Crazy, huh? Silicon Valley Bank had an A rating for its ESG. You guys ever heard of ESG? You probably know more about it than I do. That's environmental, social, and governance policies, which is being pushed by very unchristian people, to put it short. It should be called SJW ranking, right? For 8 months last year, the bank did not have a chief risk operator, which is the first I've heard of such a thing. But I don't work for any big companies, and I don't follow any big companies closely. I'm not that interested in these big companies. They're a bunch of commie capitalists, and I'm busy with my own life. I only read Commie Nonsense Network morning updates, CNN. So, the Daily Mail, the far left, sloppy outlet Daily Mail, says executives. So take this with a grain of salt, because anything you hear from the news, you don't know if it's true. But executives at Silicon Valley Bank focused on woke, I hate that word, initiatives to increase diversity among its ranks and invest in startups promoting a healthier planet, but failed to spot its glaring problems with investments as interest rates rose. The now failed bank had an A rating for environmental, social, and governance ESG policies, according to the MSCI index, whatever that is, after creating its own initiatives, blah, 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 blah. Advance inclusion and opportunity in the innovation economy. Oh, Lord. Inclusion meaning including evil, and including the POCs, because the whites are disproportionately productive, I guess. No, they are. Whites are disproportionately productive, except for when it comes to producing babies. What in the world? They even announced they had invested a whopping $5 billion by 2027 to support sustainability efforts, while their European offices held a month-long pride celebration, pride in evil, pride in perversion, pride in false identity, false pride, and promoted safe spaces. I heard that they, what did I think that I heard? Oh, at the time, they were investing Klan's money in low-interest government bonds and securities that saw their value fall when interest rates rose. Psst. Let me show you this. Let me pull this screenshot into the folder, so at least you can see the risk officer, which is a woman who was not replaced, and the woke risk officer. What's that? I don't even know what that is. And the CEO is a cyclist. Is the CEO the woman or the male? I don't know. Let's see. CEO. Greg Becker. Okay, it's the male. Cycling around his Menlo Park, California neighborhood. I think that I happen to believe that that's in up where Facebook is or something like that, right? Or Apple or one of those people. So here, it's in Silicon Valley, which is it's north near San Francisco. Here's the screenshot. I put it in the folder there. Oh, there it is. Wow, you're faster than me. Nicolas, way ahead of me, because he hangs around those Asians up in Canada. See, there's the CEO. He's a biker. And he wears those biker pants. Embarrassing. Oh, looking goofy. Don't say the G word, though, to Canadians. Sorry, Canadians. Sorry, Canadian children. I slip and say stuff like that. At least he's cycling with a woman. But that's lame, too, exercising with a woman. What are you, remedial? A lot of whites have remedial fitness levels because we pour ourselves into our work and then, don't exercise enough. See, there's a purportedly white woman who was the risk officer. She was not replaced. But this woman, this woke risk officer, mildly attractive. Hispanic or maybe Indian. Probably Indian. Was the quote-unquote woke risk officer. That's dumb. Ugh. I don't like when conservatives or liberals, for lack of better word, for want of a better word, because I have a poor vocabulary, use that term woke. Makes me want to spit. Oh, we know what we're talking about. What are you talking about, Hake asks Ashley? I don't even know. Let me move on. I was going to get to one particular caller, but he dropped. Oh. Let me get to this story. This is what I really wanted to talk about. Internalized misogyny. You heard that term in that long 4-minute clip that I got from Still Gray, Ian Miles Cheong, Malaysian man, second most famous Malaysian man on the internet. That woman who disagreed, trans women should be legally treated as women. Tell me why you disagree, said that man who counts on his fingers, but knew big words. Because I'm a molecular geneticist, said that woman who Catch-Up Network was catch-up. Not ketchup. Ketchup is gross. Catch. Well, in little bits, it's okay. Oh, yeah, that guy wanted to talk about health and fasting and dieting. Oh, yeah. That 4-minute clip that I said, and Catch Up Network, this emotional woman whose heart was beating all fast, and she's talking about rapes in female prisons by male to so-called female, so-called transgenders, which I don't know if it's rapes or if the women are just that degenerate. As Dr. Ben Carson said, people go to prison straight and they come out gay. He said that, something to that effect. Dr. Ben Carson said that. So that's why he said that it's a choice. You know, the gay thing is a choice, according to him. And so maybe those women are not getting raped per se. Maybe so. Maybe so. Because the transgender people, I think they're disproportionately Antifa. A lot of them are Antifa, I've heard, from various people. How reliable those sources are, I don't know, but it seems to be the case. Wasn't there a transgender child of a so-called child, grown adult probably, of a politician who's got caught? I heard that on the Jason Lee Peterson show. Multiple different transgenders. There was one transgender in LA. Yeah, all those Andy No mugshots, Nick says. Andy knows the independent journalist who's like a liberal, but he documents Antifa violence and he suffers some Antifa violence. Throwing milkshakes at him and beating him up and robbing him and damaging his equipment and all kinds of mess. Antifa, there was a transgender Antifa who stabbed a Mexican in the back, in the chest. I think he punctured his heart a little bit, if I remember right. Punctured an organ, a vital organ. I think the guy survived, but you know, that Mexican guy who's like all amped up and ready to kind of throw fists, versus Antifa. You know, you shouldn't be fighting with Antifa because they fight dirty, they're evil, and the media's on their side, and so are the courts and the politicians. They're on their side against the more sensible people, the people who are closer to being for what's actually right. Don't fight with Antifa. The guy got stabbed by a transgender, a so-called transgender. I remember the story. I may have even covered it. So this based woman is based, says Catch Up Network, which they might steal videos. But anyway, let me play clip 11B to remind you what this based woman, I'm using the term extremely loosely. I don't agree that she's based, although I do appreciate what she says. A lot of it is common sense, and then some of it is her feminist bias, and she's an angry woman. Emotional woman, but she's for what's right on this issue. Standards are so low, she comes off as based to people. But she's saying some sensible things. Here she is talking about there are women who agree with the transgender agenda because they're emotional, but she doesn't say it's because they're emotional. She says this word, Here it is.
Women have internalized misogyny to the point where the man's comfort takes precedence over the woman's safety.
And everybody clapped after that moment. I'm like, why are they clapping? They're clapping because, it's internalized misogyny, which means men hating women, supposedly. Oh, women are starting to hate women too because they've internalized it from all the patriarchy, the men. Stupid. Sorry, kids. Don't say that. And I'm specifically saying it to be funny too. It's not cute, kids. Terrible. Don't think you're cute, kids. Internalized misogyny. You know how they say, like, blacks have internalized racism. These black cops are beating the black criminals, suspects or persons of interest because they have internalized racism. I have internalized racism, so I try to straighten my hair as a black lady or whatever. I'm not a black lady, but I have internalized racism. Hey, people are trying to do N-word towers. I disavow. Knicker. Oops, I can't say that either. Do I have the G word pass? Hat tip to Nick Stream, Anchor Baby Show. Internal. Oh yeah, like I saw this movie years ago. What's his name? Spike Lee movie, Malcolm X, and Denzel Washington. Psh, I've seen him reading with Eraserhead, Equalizer 2, reading Ta-Nehisi Coates, that propped up black writer who's supposedly a good writer. I don't know, but he's like brainwashes his child to believe that Mike Brown was murdered because of racism when Mike Brown got himself killed by way of self-defense from the totally justified officer, Darren Wilson, former officer. This guy, this Denzel Washington playing Malcolm X saying, oh, you guys bleach your hair. Oh, maybe he bleached his hair to be like blonde. That's internalized racism. I don't know if he used that word, but that's trying to be like the white man, white standards. Black is beautiful. All into the black thing. Everything black. So, speaking of that, here's another clip from that Catch Up Network. And this person, Catch Up Network's words are, the internalized misogyny is off the charts. And it refers to this clip from this podcast called Whatever. It's a YouTube channel with millions of subscribers, dating podcast, and I censor it. I censor the too much skin showing. The internalized misogyny is off the charts. So many women refuse to answer the question about what a woman is out of fear of being canceled over transphobia. So it's all popular and middle of the road and to be against the transgenders, but they're not for real things like they're not for actual morality. So they have lower and lower and lower standards, kind of like what I was talking about with the anti-PDF files stuff. You know, the child violators. Oh, that's because your standards are so low. All you people thinking, Hake is defending the PDF files. You heard that caller JC call in, and he supports the rainbow propaganda pushed on kids by Sleepy Joe Biden. And that he's all proud of that guy who killed the alleged sex offender, or, convicted so-called sex offender, over, in his imagination, that he was stalking his toddler little girl, and now he can't be there for his daughter because he allegedly murdered somebody. I think he admitted to it. So anyway, that's the phoniness about low standards. Oh, we're against transgenders and children being violated. Oh, big wow. Good for you. Please. How about no sex out of wedlock? How about we aim for perfection? Anyway, here's the internalized misogyny example. Stupid. And this is kind of hard to watch, but it's kind of interesting. It's like a whole table full of females. Like, I don't know what these females are, and it's one guy and one partway sensible gal versus all these females who don't want to take a stand on what is a woman. Please. Here's the clip 12.
So what, I guess my question is, you said that they're both women, right? So what is a woman?
A woman is anyone who wants to identify as one.
A cat is a cat because they are a cat. That's not like...
I feel like
this isn't a gotcha. It's just a genuine question. What
like
is a woman? Hold on. Hold on. Go ahead.
Nice.
I didn't have anything to say yet.
But what is a woman?
Lady. Don't have anything to say.
A person?
Stay like that.
No, but what is the definition of what is a woman?
See all the
I
censorship?
don't know, I'm confused now.
I'm confused.
I understand what your argument is. If I come out and I say a woman is someone who was born biologically a woman, I understand that that's where you're coming from. And I agree everyone is entitled to their own opinion. But I personally, as an individual, respect trans people. I respect trans women. So I'm not going to come on here and invalidate them by saying that. I understand completely where you're coming from. But just from my personal preference, I don't feel comfortable doing that.
Answering the question. Okay. No, hey, that's okay. What about you?
I'm just not really interested in having this conversation about trans people anymore because you seem very clearly committed to misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Well, I am trying to understand. I'm just trying to get people's perspective. So what is a woman?
I'm gonna say what she said. I don't feel comfortable. Like, this is... I just feel like that's like not... I don't know. I feel like there's a better question that could be asked in this situation. We all respect the trans community enough, and like invalidating that, like telling they believe that they are a woman or they're a man, transgender, whatever, and invalidating that's not our position. It's not our place to say what they can and can't be.
Allie, what is a woman?
Well, a woman is an adult human female. It's the same thing like a man is an adult human male. XX chromosomes, that means you're a woman. There are people that are born intersex. They're an incredible minority. And, you know, men are humans who have XY chromosomes.
Humans? Wait, did she say that women are an incredible minority? Did she say women are a minority? Women are the majority, aren't they? Except in China because they, I don't want to say, intersex. Oh, okay. An incredible minority. This woman, she's so based. Yeah, it was cleavage I was censoring. and that doll's face. And as Got Your Six said, women are so weak, especially these females. Not the ladies, not so much the ladies. They're slightly more sensible anyway, who catch hake. Shout out to the ladies who catch hake. We cherish you, and we cherish the weak women. Yeah, I censored the face of that mannequin. I respect trans women, said one lady. Oh, and the other one is trying to coach. I think you could ask a better question. Well, she didn't use a deep voice like that. I respect them, too. I respect them as human beings, and I respect them too much to go along and pretend with their delusion. At least... not in front of their face, anyway. Maybe in front of their face, I'd be... I don't know what I would do. Come on, Hake, show us the goods. Oh, man. I thought... I did all of that in iMovie, by the way. And Preview. Apple Preview. So, like... Oh, my goodness. I could describe to you how I did it, but I don't have a lot of time. Maybe another day I'll show you how... I'll explain how I censored... Put those black blocks over the skin. Too much skin. Anyways, internalized misogyny. No such thing, as JLP says, Jesse Lee Peterson. No such thing. This catch-up network says, it's internalized misogyny. Just using more anti-man language to to pretend to be close to reasonable. No, that's not close to reasonable. It's closer, I guess, to reasonable. So good and chaste of you. Yeah. It is not internalized misogyny. It's because, as JLP has said, I keep on quoting him, women have fear. He said that regarding the China virus, and it stuck with me. Because they do, and female-minded males, like most of us, have fear. And so they're kiss-ups. It has nothing to do with hating women that you kiss up to the transgender so-called females. They're not females at all. And you don't respect them by kissing up to them? Please. So let me get to Nate in California on the line. Nate, how you doing, man?
I'm good, James. How are you? Good morning.
I'm fine. Thank you. No man is good. But that's fine.
Oh, no. I'm mistaken. I apologize.
I accept.
All right. So, I know that the Hake report has recently been taking a lot of health, advice, right?
Yeah.
I hear a few bright cookies like CJ call in.
CJ.
And give some advice.
That's right.
Yeah, CJ. And so I just wanted to leave you with like a simple thing I thought of.
Are you Mr. Higgers?
I'm not thought of, man. A simple thing I'm doing.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you Mr. Higgers?
Let's be real
Sorry to
clear.
interrupt. I mean, I'm
No.
Okay.
That's not me.
Okay.
I'm American native.
Oh, nice. Right on. American Indian, as I call them, right?
Oh, no, like American native, like one word, like you and me.
Oh, yeah, right on, man. Nice. And so you're a white man, or no?
Yeah.
Nice. It's good to hear. Is this your first time calling Hake?
I don't sound black, do I?
No. Is this your first time calling the Hake report, or you've been on before?
Yeah, this is my first time calling.
Nice. What an honor. Go ahead.
Yes. So just very simply, I'd like to say men fast, women and fat children diet.
What makes you say that? I feel like I should disavow just to be nice and weak. But what makes you say that? Native American, all one word. Say again? American Native, I mean.
Works.
Say again?
It works so well that the people around you start losing weight.
When you fast?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could believe that. I could totally believe that, man, because, fat people like to do fat things together. And
just
TV
like you
watchers,
used to bake cookies together. Yep.
Drinkers like to drink beer and different alcohols together. And it's just they're kind of a bad influence on one another. It's kind of a vicious circle. And then they also do it out of habit and guilt and being nice and not wanting to rock the boat and all kinds of stuff. It's interesting how weak we are and human beings are. And
very
we just
interesting.
Yeah.
And very weak.
So what makes you say that fat women, which I never describe women as
Wait,
fat.
no, I didn't say fat women. I said women and fat children.
Oh, okay. So even women who are not fat.
I didn't say it that. I didn't say it how you said it, James.
Okay, I disavow. Okay, just playing around because I think that I don't think I would be censored for saying fat women, would I?
Right. And the reason I say that is the women are always trying to change their appearance, so they will go on a diet to get thinner. I mean, if they may be thin and go on a particular diet to get thicker.
Right.
And a child is supposed to be at a level, a base. There's like a level that a child is supposed to have. He's supposed to be healthy,
Right.
not overweight, not too skinny. So that's why you would put a child on a diet. Now, like an adult man, he doesn't need to go on a diet. He just needs to stop eating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I remember when I was younger, now that I'm older, my friends and I, we don't tell each other anything when we're getting fat, but we used to tell each other stuff when we were getting fat, and we would not necessarily eat at certain meals when we would all eat. We're like,
right.
You're trying to slim down. I remember one time my friend asked me if I had my wisdom teeth out because my face had gotten kind of fat. I was like, what? So I kind of didn't eat so much a little bit. Fair point, man.
I saw in the chat, in JLP's chat, the particular guy that was overweight was talking, and he said that he was very humble. And I just thought, man, like, if I was that dude, I put him in myself in his position, like a real big dude, and I was like, if I was him, I would probably be really humble because I wouldn't want anybody to call me a fat ass. You know what I'm saying?
Sorry, kids. Keep it clean, man.
Oh, I apologize. Yeah. That A word, yeah. A fat boy.
Right. You know what? I knew a guy named Fat Boy. Anyway.
See, there we go. That's a good word we can use.
Yeah. But there is something to changing what you eat as well, for sure.
Right. But if you are an adult man, let's get you on a feeding time.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think that helps too.
You will wake up in the morning, and everything you do until 2:00 you will do for God, and then you will put food in your mouth after 2.
Ouch.
You can eat from 2. Okay, you can eat from 2 to 8, and that's good. And let's say you like to have breakfast.
Yeah.
Well, then you get up, you have your breakfast, you have your lunch, and you don't have no dinner.
Whoa.
Okay, you fast the rest of the time there. So manage your feeding time that you have well. And if you can manage your feeding time, you can fast like a man instead of diet like a child.
It is good to be able to fast longer. That's true. Like Joel mentioned on his show 2 or 3 episodes ago, you can go 4 hours between meals or whatever. You know, it's not that long. You're not, as I heard on one podcast, you're not going to die by skipping in certain times. So,
well, you're not going to die, but you might feel more alive.
Yeah, it is. It's good for you to clear out all that mess clogging you rather than stuffing your snout. Yeah, interesting, man. So are you fit or fat?
I'm fit.
Nice. Right on, man. Cool.
Yeah.
Do you eat pretty healthfully?
But it's not. It didn't come easy. I was fat until I realized I had to fast.
Yeah. Okay. It makes a lot of sense, man.
I realized I was being weak. I was being weak and like giving into, you know, what is it now? My tum hurts, right?
Yeah.
I need to eat something. Okay?
Tum. Treating yourself like a child. Yeah.
You tough it out till 2:00, James. You're gonna find out you're not waking up for that bagel or whatever the hell you have in the morning or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay? You're gonna wake up and work for God till 2:00, and then you're gonna be so grateful for whatever's waiting for you in the fridge or whatever you order. You know, the Little Caesars is gonna be so delicious.
Oh yeah, I still need to get my Little Caesars.
You might even say a prayer before you eat.
Right. We should eat like JLP has pointed out, and Jesus said it. Eat to remember. Do this in remembrance of me. Stop with the snacking, glutton, says Lisa.
Yeah, no
and then the
snacking.
type of stuff that you eat, it's like you can pass it up. You can pass up the beer or the whatever.
You'd be amazed what you like and what you think you like and need now, okay? And you'll be amazed at what you need and want.
Nice.
After fasting.
Cool, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for the call, Nate. It's great to hear from you. Good call.
All right, James.
All right.
Love the show.
Thank you, man.
You guys take care.
All right, you as well. Nate in California. Yeah, you don't need to eat just because your tummy grumbling, says Fred Johnson. I've sometimes wondered, I mean, I ate today, but I've sometimes wondered if you guys are hearing it on the mic. Oh, Lord. Self-discipline, says Lisa. Yeah. God gave us a spirit of self-discipline, of a sound mind. It's a fact, Jack. Some super chats for you guys before I get to the break, and then some back to the calls, and then some stories. Streamlabs.com/The Hake Report. Gregatron with a couple of super chats. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Hey, Hake, if you want bigger arms, focus on the tricep, because the tricep is 2/3 of your upper arm, the bicep being 1/3. Do tricep extensions until you can't do any more. Notice he didn't say can't do no more. Don't use those double negatives. We're not Spanish. For biceps, do the standing barbell curl. Find a decent weight. Barbell, is barbell different from dumbbell? Maybe it's a whole barbell? That's different? Oh, okay. Find a decent weight for 10 to 12 reps. Thank you, Gregatron. Appreciate the suggestions. That's cool. I saw Gregatron on his channel doing endless, as he called them, something like that, curls. And then Lin Yan Shin had some advice for him. Nice. Gregatron also says, also shout out to William from CA. I've never heard California being called CA. Shout out to PA, Pennsylvania, you liberal state, like Californians are one to talk. And Art from O, meaning Ohio. They are on fire in a crowded room. No, he didn't say that. We need to give them their own show on y'all's little network, says Gregatron. We don't need to do anything except for stay white and live. Thank you, Gregatron. Appreciate that. Giordano says, you and Speedy Gonzalez, Samson, Hank, boy, bye. Thank you, Giordanos. Speedy Gonzalez. Is it two Z's in your name, or is there an S at the end?
Double Z, double Z, as the Canadians would say.
Nice. You ever heard of Luis Gonzalez?
Mm-mm. Is that the guy? Is he a guitarist?
Yeah.
And he does that knife.
Yeah,
What's it called?
Yeah, the knife cover.
The knife
Heartbeats?
cover. Yeah, Heartbeats.
So good.
Yeah.
And his is spelled differently. Like it's Z and then S at the end. I think.
He's fancy.
Yeah. Where is he from again?
I'm not sure.
I forget where he's from.
He is. Wait, this is not him.
Luis Gonzalez. I heard him on my, in my car, on my drive to the.
Oh, you mean Jose Gonzalez?
Jose Gonzalez. Yeah. There you go. Jose Gonzalez. He's like some type of thing, not a normal Mexican.
He's Swedish. What the?
Yeah, something like that.
He's Swedish. Yeah. According to Wikipedia.
Right. Except
Swedish.
That's not a very Swedish name.
Yeah, looking a little swarthy to be Swedish.
Yeah, it's a swarthy name too. Man, all these white countries. Thank you, Nico.
No problem.
He's a better guitarist than Jose Gonzalez, maybe. Love soda does not like juice. Gave a super chat. Hake. I don't know what these females are. Homeschool sex ed confirmed. Yeah, there's no such thing as so-called S-word ed in homeschool. Nor should there be anywhere. Right? Someone bought 2 coffees on buymeacoffee.com/The Hake Report. Today, during Women's History Month, we celebrate the success of Janet Yellen, not a Christian, U.S. Secretary of the Treasury, single-handedly popularizing the bob cut for mannish women. Janet Yellen has brought financial wisdom such as government stimulus isn't too big. Inflation won't increase. Inflation is transitory. And I was wrong about inflation. Being a multitasker, as many women are, better than men, supposedly, Yellen says the economy isn't in a recession, but in a transition. Whoa. Simultaneously telling Congress to raise the debt limit to pass Joe Obama's $6.9 trillion budget because the U.S. defaulting on its debt would be bad, with sufficient time to appoint herself the financial ambassador to Ukraine and a surprise visit to Zelensky, informing him that the U.S. money will keep flowing. Upon her return, Janet Yellen announced the devaluing of taxpayer assets and savings is the fault of climate change. Interesting. It's kind of, I have to slow down to take this in. Amazingly, the 2 largest banks in Israel managed to transfer $1 billion out of Silicon Valley Bank before it was shut down. Those Jews and their foresight. Beautiful. I love it. High IQ. No corruption, of course. Of course, a solution to insufficient government program, FDIC, something, is another government program to backstop private banks, which will become de facto public banks. Privatize the profits, socialize the losses. Interesting, man. Thank you, someone, for those 2 coffees. Let me double check on Ko-Fi, ko-fi.com/The Hake Report. Nothing there. Odyssey and Rumble. Being enlightened till I rise. Says in the Marine Corps, or Marine Corps, as Obama once said. He's so smart. We call them fat bodies. Perfect for you to use. What the heck? Thank you, being enlightened till I rise. I don't feel right calling them fat bodies. But thank you, guys. It's past the top of the hour. Now is some time for some music, guys. I do not want to play any more Julieta Venegas, even though I wanted to. I wanted to play that whole C album. C means yes in Spanish. I wanted to play that whole album. There's not a bad... I love every song on that album. C, 2002 or 3, from Julieta Venegas. But those Spanish-speaking songs from those popular ones anyways, like Julieta Venegas and La Oreja de Van Gogh, they are censored in Russia, blocked in Russia. So I'm going to play some Low, L-O-W. Rest in peace, Mimi Parker of Low. It's a Mormon band. This track is entitled Point of Disgust. It's from the 2002 album Trust. I hope you like it. You can cover your ears, you can press mute, or you can grin and bear it, you musical Philistines, and I'll be right back for the rest of hour 2. Hang tight. So nice. Low energy says everything is fake. Don't do it, Hake. Please don't jump off the bridge. Life will get better. Pray. Come on, guys. It's a serious song. Talk about depressing music, Hake, says Lady Seesaw. Well, I didn't want to get blocked in Russia. I would have been playing awesome Julieta Venegas music. But Mormons have bands, asks Jake N35. Yeah, they're Latter-day Saints, according to Wikipedia, and I knew that they were Mormon. I learned about Low, their kind of dark music. Point of Disgust is the name of the song. Hake got a melancholy soul, says Skunky X. I learned about them from Jeff Suffering of 90 Pound Wuss fame, worldwide record-smashing fame, and Suffering and the Hideous Thieves. This is witch music. Would have been illegal to recite not long ago, says Everything is Fake. Had a good cry, says Mike Gibson. It's not so bad, Hake. Thank you, Carver531. Right, millions of Russian viewers, says Ivana Spencer. I don't want to take any chances. I don't want one person to miss Hake music except by covering their ears or pressing mute or pressing pause and then skipping ahead or clicking on the timestamp to jump forward. Oh, okay. Thank you guys for bearing with me through that beautiful music. This makes some of the other awful music Hake's played sound better, says Kilo Alpha Tango. Rest in peace, earbud users, says Ashley Galloway. Oh, oops. I don't know. I don't know on which end that was too loud or too quiet or whatever. We don't know what's going on. Or Nick may know. He's like, we're trying to, anyway, whatever. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't pay attention to you guys. Another super chat or two before I get back to calls. Lorena H says, hi, Hake. I was wondering, what does the Bible mention anything on being a godparent, like a godfather, a godmother? What do you say? Hope all is well. I don't think that it says anything about that. I don't know where they got the notion of it. I don't have any big opinion on it. I thought it was nice and fun when somebody said, oh, God dad, or God, I'm his godmother or godfather. Sometime I've known Hispanics who are like Catholic, nominal Catholics, who've become God. One of my friends is like a godfather to, sounds weird to say godfather because of the movie, which I have not seen, to his nephew. And I know different people, different Christians even, who are that. I think it's nice. I don't know if it does any good necessarily. Maybe it depends on the person. So it's, I think it's fine. Not a big deal either way, I say. Yeah. I don't think that the Bible, I did think of, as I was thinking about what the Bible talks about, Samuel, the priest or prophet or whatever that guy was, he advised maybe David sometimes, Samuel. He was a little boy who I think was born to a woman who couldn't have children at first. And she cried, and she cried, and she cried in the temple. And Eli caught her crying. He's all, you drunk woman? No, sir, I'm not drunk. I'm forlorn because I can't have kids. Back in the day, women cared about having kids in the good old days. And Eli prayed to God and said, don't worry. And sure enough, the woman and her husband had a baby, and the baby was named Samuel, little boy. And then Samuel heard the word of the Lord. Here I am, Lord. And he was hanging out in the temple with Eli. And so he was Eli became like a godfather to him, except they didn't say godfather. But Eli was kind of taking care of Samuel, as I recall. I may be misstating the story entirely. But it was cool because Samuel was like, here I am, Lord. And he kind of gave himself to God's service even as a little boy. And he was born to a woman who couldn't have kids. She was all mocked by those women. And so Samuel may have been somewhat of a godfather. Somebody said God, the original godparent. Not godparent, godfather. Godmother. I don't know about the fairy godmother like in, Cinderella? But I didn't have a problem with it as a kid. A little Christian boy. I don't know if I watched that whole movie before. The Disney version. Interesting question. So I say it's no big problem. Yenrik Yagoda says bought 5 coffees over on buymeacoffee.com/The Hake Report. Hello, Mr. Hake. Did you hear a recent headline about the average American IQ declining for the first time? You know, I've heard that it has been declining. Probably because we're shipping in all these people. You know, and then the whites are dying off disproportionately from the different things. Fentanyl and suicide and not having babies enough. Coincidentally, the white population has decreased. On an unrelated note, have you tried Tierra Mia? Tried on Tierra Mia? Have you ever tried on my dirt, my ground? I know there's quite a few locations around Los Angeles. Oh, it's a location. It's like a restaurant, maybe. No, I hadn't heard of that. Thank you, Yenrik Yagoda. Tierra Mia Coffee Company. Huh. Buy me a coffee. You know, I don't drink much coffee nowadays. I only used to drink a vanilla iced coffee or hazelnut iced coffee. Iced. Oh, yeah, I already said iced. But I haven't been drinking coffee or even much iced tea or even rock stars or yerba mates. Yerba mate for the hoity-toity. Or monsters or much of anything. You proud of me? But I'm not against it. And thank you guys. I heard coffee can be actually good for you a little bit. Thank you for the tip. I perhaps may check out Tierra Mia. Tierra Mia. Turn it all Italian instead of Spanish. Originated in Southgate in 2008. March. Firestone and Atlantic. Wow, who knew? 20 retail locations. Specialty coffee retailer. Thank you for the tip. Ulysses Romero. Right on. Just don't take me to the hood. But thanks for the coffee. And thanks for the, thanks to Based America First for the pizza pie yesterday. How much coffee, Hake? Like some days I have none. Hake likes the soy lattes, LOL, says Costin with a smiley face. That's not a smiling matter. I've never tried it. Check over here on Odyssey and Rumble. Thank you, guys. Let me get to Joe in Phoenix, Arizona on the line. Joe, thanks for holding, man. How you doing? Are you there? Come off mute. There you are.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I forgive you. That's a
All right,
sort of joking. Go ahead.
A couple of callers ago, the caller was saying how Obama's done nothing for Chicago or anything, and he must not be aware of the My Brother's Keeper Initiative or the Obama Foundation, which gives scholarships to both Columbia University and the University of Chicago.
Man, two of the worst universities that you can think of. That's terrible. Yeah, you know what? I kind of knew. I didn't fully agree with Keith on that. I didn't want to get into too much of a discussion because we agreed and talked so much. But I agree with you that he did do evil things with regard to pushing education, which is evil. You know, the brainwashing propaganda, university, college, higher education, so-called. That's mess.
Oh, good. Didn't you go to Azusa Pacific?
I did. I went to Azusa Pacific University, and I majored in art with an emphasis in graphic design. And because my parents told me it doesn't matter what degree you get, just get a degree. It'll make you more hireable. And I've never had a job where I needed a degree. But, you know, I don't resent it or anything, except at least hopefully I shouldn't. And, you know, it was...
I'm assuming your parents paid for it and not you.
I plead the fifth. But yeah, it was a waste. I think it was wasted on me. And that's, you make a good point that you shouldn't, I think that parents doing this college fund thing for their children, I really think it's misguided for probably for the most part, if not for the all part. Maybe nothing is 100% in this case, but I think it's misguided because kids
education is a bad thing.
No, but my point is, I I was a grown adult, so-called kid. I was a kid in my mind, right? And didn't appreciate it. I worked hard at the art with an emphasis in graphic design. I worked hard at whatever I did, but it was still squandered because I didn't, one, really appreciate it. Two, I wasn't working and living in like the real world, you know? And three,
you didn't appreciate it because you didn't have to pay for it yourself.
Right, that's part of what my point, exactly. See, you have a little bit of common sense, even though you're so evil and malicious and trying to get us banned.
See, James, you really think that I'm trying to get you banned? I'm really not. From day one, I've told you I'm trying to help you and Jesse be more effective, not get you banned.
Then how come you call us evil? You're blind. You're blind. You got to check yourself sometimes. I'm seriously considering what Asmodor said about banning you because you're so malicious. You ask these leading questions, and your point is, you like lick your chops at the notion, like the evil demon inside of you that imagines that we're going to inspire a hate crime. You like hope for some mass murder or some hate crime so that they can ban us because we, according to you, denigrate and lie about black people, which is not what we're doing. We're so nice to blacks. We love
evil,
blacks.
Terrible, horrible lies about black people, you and Jesse daily.
Not true.
That's what I have a problem with. Not you personally.
But
the horrible, terrible, evil things that you say.
Right, but we don't do say evil, terrible things for the most part.
James, Jesse has said most black people are retarded. That's evil and wrong.
Well, you got to talk to Jesse about that. I mean, granted, I brought it up, but you talk to Jesse about that, and also Joe has an evil laugh because he's evil to the core. Ban him, Hake, says prisoner _ class. You do it. You're malicious and angry, and it's not righteous anger. It's not love that motivates you. It's not even love for black people.
You are welcome to your opinion.
It's not
none of that is true.
Yeah, it is. It's more true than what your allegations against us are.
Well, we'll have to disagree on that, I guess.
Yeah.
But
a lot of this is
I really don't hate you, James.
Okay.
I really wish you'd be more effective. I really do.
All right, I'll accept that at face value. Now, let me see. A lot of what you said is you said difference of opinion. That's what I realized was the case when you were arguing with Jesse on Lee Peterson's show earlier today. I'm on his network about how the FAA told Congress it was totally on the up and up, no preferential treatment for the blacks, no affirmative action. It was a difference of perception, let's call it. A difference of perception of reality.
What I said is that they did an investigation and they reported their fact-finding investigation. So that's just a fact. It's not a perception.
It's a fact that it may be a fact that they said that, but it's not a fact that that's the reality. And that's the point, is that you have a different assumption about what the reality is from Jesse.
Well, you can assume the opposite with no proof if you want to, but again, when you look at the actual fact, it's a felony to lie to Congress. So why would the FAA do that? And anything, Jesse's nonsense reason that they want to protect the blacks. That's just his imagination, and there's nothing to back that up.
Is it a felony to lie to Congress? They lie to us all the time. That's so rich. FBI lies to us all the time, and it's a felony to lie to the FBI. Steve says.
That's why Michael Cohen went to jail for lying about paying off Stormy Daniels.
I know, but that's a different. Okay, that may or may not be true. I don't know, but that's a totally different thing because Congress is anti-Trump, but they're pro kissing up to black people, so they have a different motivation for catching a lie for one case than for another. The Congress is totally kissing up to blacks.
They put Cohen in jail for trying to protect Trump. What are you talking
exactly,
about?
because Congress is anti-Trump. So imagine.
Are you hearing yourself? They put Cohen in jail for lying about Trump. So they were helping Trump in that case.
No, but they're
going after that.
Whatever. I don't care. Cohen was Trump's lawyer. It doesn't matter. And they don't care about that. They care about kissing up to blacks. Congress clearly kisses up to blacks. Steve says, imagine calling for a ban because someone respectfully disagrees with the person. Joe from Phoenix is not respectful. You're not respectful in your disagreement. Usually, you are when I'm nice to you and, you know, when we're calm. But you're not respectful. Like, you call us evil. You've said horrible things to and about me.
Evil.
Speculating about where I live and making up all kinds of stuff from your imagination about stuff that's not even your business.
You made fun of my stroke.
I didn't make fun of it. I was, hey, your stroke thing?
About black people.
No, hold on.
Say again?
Hold on, just to clarify. I did not make fun of your stroke. I said you're angry, and that's why you had the stroke. That's not making fun of it.
That is not what you said.
Yeah, I said your anger is why you had the stroke. Something to that effect. It was my point. And it was not making fun of it.
Well, we disagree on that too.
Well, you disagree on it, but you have no idea what I always wished you well about that. What in the world? You're disagreeing about what your imagination is about my motivation about you and your and what I said about your stroke and anger. We were arguing about anger and.
You to be a master spin doctor. You really have.
No, this is not true. This is absolutely the truth that I'm telling you. We were arguing about it because you're. Hold on. You said I got a stroke because I was trying to do be all things for all people and stressed out.
I said I had a stroke because I have high blood pressure, which runs in my family. That's
I know, but you also said you tried to be all things for all people, and and that's what was adding to your stress. And I'm like, that's motivated by anger. That's like a mama spirit. And
not
also
I said to the people in my life who count on me.
Right, and
that's what I said.
Well, fine, but the gist of what I'm saying is correct, and definitely what my thing was. I was never.
All your imagination again, James.
This is not my imagination. I'm telling you exactly how it happened. I'm pretty much how it happened. No, it's your imagination that I was making fun of you.
Just you say about black people are just evil.
No, you're trying to change the subject now. You're trying to change the subject because
this was my original point: is that what you guys say is evil and wrong, not you personally.
But we don't say anything. Most of what we say is not evil and wrong. It's the truth. But you hate Trump because you hate the truth.
Most black people are not retarded.
Huh?
Most black people are not evil.
Let's go back to your lie that I was making fun of you for your stroke. Let's pretend.
Are wrong and evil things.
Hold on, man. I'm talking. Let's go back to your. I'm the host. I get to talk over you.
No, you don't.
Yeah, yes, I do. I never made fun of your stroke. You're lying.
Absolutely did.
Okay, goodbye, Joe.
Okay, goodbye.
Loser. No, that's messed up. Don't just call him a loser. But he is. So let me get to these stories, guys. How about that? Blacks ransacked a restaurant in Queens. That was a tip from my caller William last week, and another tipster. Hat tip to the tipsters. Thank you, guys. Clip 14. Wild video shows teens. Oh, there's that word again. Teens ransack a Queens restaurant. That's a place in New York, I gather. From Fox 5 New York, 2 minutes, 17 second news story. So I assume that there's no cussing. I haven't even really checked the clip. Here it is.
This is wild video. A restaurant in Queens vandalized by a group seemingly bent on destruction. The people seen in this video ransacking Fish Village on 127th Street.
Just awful. The owners speaking out tonight saying that there's tens of thousands of dollars in damage. Fox 5's Arthur Sheehan joins us live from College Point with the latest. And that is tough video to watch, Arthur.
It is very difficult, in particular because within the Asian American community, this is considered one of the best Cantonese seafood restaurants in this city. Still, tonight, neither police nor the restaurant have any idea why they were targeted in this attack. What they do know is the amount of damage that was caused.
Black on Asian.
Cell phone video shows the harrowing moments when what's described as a bunch of about 20 teenagers walked into the Fish Village restaurant in College Point, Queens, and destroyed the place, causing $20,000 in damages.
So from start to finish, it lasted less than a minute. Okay, so they were just, I didn't say a word coming in or out.
The destruction took place on a busy Saturday night just after 8 p.m. All the suspects wore masks. Though they said nothing to the staff, the attack was laced with profanity, and customers and staff feared for their safety.
He was scared. Him and all his staff were just terrified because they just came in and all of a sudden.
The local police precinct tonight visited the restaurant staff. Aside from the cell phone video, investigators also have the restaurant surveillance cameras to work with. Some say a lack of legal consequences have emboldened criminals in our city, and the mayor is now suggesting customers and patrons remove their masks when entering businesses. The idea is gaining support.
I think it's important that, if you come in as a member of the general public, you try to be welcoming and show your face. I think the owners and the manager here stated that he would be supportive of that.
A quick check with the police department right now. They say thus far tonight, no arrests have been made in this case, but there are plenty within this community who are wondering, even when those who are responsible are found, what sort of consequences they will actually face. We're live in College Point, Queens tonight. Arthur Chien, Fox 5 News. Steve, Natasha, back to you guys.
All right, Arthur, thank you.
Arthur Chien. Chi''en. Teens. And of course, the masks. I was listening to the Crypto Report. That's Asmodor's show, on whose show I shall return one day soon. I need to get in touch with him. Set that up. I keep on saying that. They're always wearing these masks that gave them cover to be doing these smash and grabs and assaults and, Antifa to go crazy and not be identified and get away with it on camera and everything else. Bruce Lee wouldn't put up with that stuff, says Nick Edison, but he doesn't say stuff. He just says a different word. Yeah, exactly. Remember that Bruce Lee movie where he defends the restaurant? They need Jackie Chan, says Mojo. Yeah, both of those guys are from Hong Kong. They might have spoken Cantonese. Remove the masks, says the mayor, before entering establishments. That's not going to help, not when they're storming in like that. Teens, meaning blacks. Lack of legal consequences. Were they doing this? Were they doing this type of stuff a decade ago as much? 2 decades ago as much? 3 decades, 4 decades, 5, 6 decades ago as much? Or has it gotten worse? Big Bump says, FYI, Jesse Lee Peterson's fallen state guests, Charleston White, who's this black radical guy who very vulgar but sensible at times, and China Mac, Asian guy who's a rapper into the black culture stuff, but also he's Chinese and defends the Asians, are having a beef right now. Not saying the restaurant is related since most blacks dislike whites, but interesting. Yeah, China Mac is not for all these blacks attacking all these Asians. He's like, what in the world? China Mac is kind of anti-racist too. Very good interviews, both of those, I think. China Mac agreed with JLP that overcome the anger. Lack of legal consequences, lack of consequences, period. I was watching the show called Nightwave Radio, Mersh over there, and he was talking about how some of these people, teens, I don't know if he said teens, but some out of control black, I guess, young lady, I think it was, as I recall. He sometimes records these replays some of these arrest videos. These blacks who with their mouth and their inability to cooperate, they get themselves arrested. And they think that they're going to be able to talk their way out of it or fight their way out of it because they have, in my opinion, they have these mothers who cave. Women tend to cave. Men, at least men who are actually men, tend to be a little bit more solid in their putting their foot down, not relenting. Sometimes, a lot of times, men males nowadays, fathers, are all softies. You can be like, oh, okay, let me give you a chance. And so they get away with their stuff. Way of the Dragon, says Jupiter. Also known as Fist of Fury, maybe? I'm not sure. But anyway. Did Hake show the black kid who slammed the Asian girl twice on the ground and paralyzed? I did not. I don't like to show all these things. I don't like to show the harsher violence. But yeah, they need fathers or mothers who are think like men, think logically, and are like solid. That way they have some form of sanity rather than the insanity of getting away with everything. And then just wild, out of control anger being raged at them unjustly, and then also getting spoiled unjustly. There was a comment under that vid from one of my tipsters. I'm just curious, will this affect their reparations pay? He said, user Pkava1079. Indeed. I doubt it, because they didn't steal anything. They were just throwing chairs around in that Cantonese restaurant. And that restaurant really didn't look all that attractive. It needed more windows. Maybe I'm spoiled being in LA. But it looked like a relatively nice little center thing, like little shopping center with these tall multi-story buildings that you don't expect anything to happen in this little Cantonese or Chinese, whatever, village. But meanwhile, you have these DC blacks. Let me play a few clips from this DC clips that I've been teasing at the beginning of the shows in prior days. DC blacks. Shaking my head before I get back to callers. Hang tight, callers. And notice that women are running it, and a phony politician talker pointing like this with his phony politician point. Clip 13A. I think this is the black guy rambling. At the HandsOffDC rally. 17-second clip. The criminal code that D.C. Council passed gets rid of mandatory minimums that are a relic of the racist past. It's about majority white body Congress intervening with in a majority black, and he capitalized B in the word black, Chuck Maudie one, who's apparently a kiss-up to the capital B black. Black City. Here's the clip. I cut it off at 17 because he rambles and rambles. But look at his politician point if you're able to watch the video or just listen to his phony self. A black male.
Criminal code that the DC Council passed gets rid of mandatory minimums that we know is a relic of a racist past, that we know disproportionately impacts black and brown folk. It restores jury trials for misdemeanors, which is a constitutional right.
And he may be right about the jury trials thing. But wait a minute, misdemeanors. You guys be, there I am, talking black. You guys you guys stay misdemeanoring. There I am talking about. But he's like, ugh, talking all politician gestures, not at all. Was he educated in one of those Obama schools, Columbia or Chicago thing? See, this is what I'm talking about, Joe. I'm not just talking about the teens who, by the way, were not arrested, so their crime is not documented by the FBI. Is it? Or maybe it is. I don't know. Let me jump over to clip 13C. We out here. No, we are out here to demand. This is a female. See, the rest of these are this female politician woman. It's a redundant. Running her mouth. I'd rather hear the phony educated black phony politician guy. I said phony twice. We're out here to demand D.C. become the 51st state. The residents of D.C. are sick and tired of not having our voices represented in Congress. You don't deserve it. Here's a 32-second clip. Here's the black lady.
We are out here to demand that D.C. becomes the 51st state, point blank, period. The residents of D.C. are tired of being sick and tired of not having our voices represented in Congress. Laws and legislations are being passed that each and every day the residents here have to adhere to. We don't have a voice in those laws, and they do not represent the values that us as women have today.
What?
Shut it down. So if we don't get it, shut it down. If we don't get it, shut it down.
Communist.
Shut it down. If we don't get it, shut it down.
Oh, Lord. That's even worse than the phony dressed up politician acting more palatable like a phony politician. These black females, a little bit more refreshing because they're just nakedly communist, right? Just evil. Just, but totally unreasonable. It's kind of how we should be but for what's right, you know, shamelessly for what's right. Shameless is not the right word, but they are shameless. Confidently for what's right and not unyieldingly for the right thing. Do something with that forehead, says Steve C. So ghetto. No. Point blank, period. We are sick and tired of being sick and tired of this and this. Just pushing a bunch of cliches together. Clip 13E. Here's this thing. They're going to call us woke and radical and socialist anyway, and why not be all the way for that, says Janice for DC. Number 4, you know, she's a politician, and she's running her big mouth, talking all tough. 46-second clip. Bear with me, guys. Here it is.
And so every time we cower to these labels, oh, they're woke, or they're radical, or they're socialist, you know, it's like they're going to say these things anyway. Why don't you get actual wins for the people of this country who are asking you and needing our leaders to stand up for us? And it's just so frustrating that people are so allowing these Republican talking points to control the decisions they make instead of standing on their values and their principles, like the president who said he supports local autonomy for D.C., he supports D.C. statehood, but then goes against it because he doesn't want to be paid on a soft on crime. They know that this isn't a soft on crime statute. They know that, and they don't care. They're going to lie anyway and mischaracterize everything. So why not stand up for the people? Why not stand up for democracy? Why not do the right thing?
Do you think she thinks that she's for the right thing? Maybe she does. Or is she knowingly lying? Do the right thing for the people. What people? Women taking up for the criminals, crooks. I have no idea about this soft on crime bill thing. Here's more, cover your ears, kids, dumbness. Sorry, guys. Sorry, parents. Clip 13F. Don't be a violent cop. 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 Says Chuck Modi is documenting this. 19-second clip from the hashtag HandsOffDC rally, which is old news from a while ago. Here it is.
Don't be a violent cop. 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 Don't be a violent cop.
I feel like a reactionary now.
Don't be a violent cop.
Go.
Don't be a violent cop. Don't be a violent cop.
Prisoner_class says, I think these protesters are just dissatisfied with the economy, or theirs, and looking for government bucks any way they can get it. That's fair. Yeah, not JLP. Like Trump said, I've quoted JLP enough, I'm quoting Trump now. Not the D word, not dumb. Like Trump said, he's like, what do we really want? This is 2016 when he's running for office. What do we all really want? Good job, home, safe place to live and all that. I think I could talk with some of these Black Lives Matter people whom he's had to throw out of his rallies. But some people you can't talk to, Trump said. At one of his rallies, I remember him saying that. What do we all really want? Yeah, I think they would calm themselves down if they were just working and making money. And some of the blacks are working and making money and just don't even care that much about this mess. And some of them watching Hake, by the way. But this is dumb. Don't be a violent cop. How about don't be a violent black? Cops are supposed to be violent towards the violent. They escalate to the level that you escalate, to which you escalate. And sometimes they're a little bit healthier than you, not always. And so they can deal with this stress more than, say, like Eric Garner, who couldn't handle it and he died I guess unfortunately, I don't know if that's unfortunate. Police reform, but not black reform. Let me talk to you about this. Here's how kids, this is a pocket headline. I haven't showed this in a while, pocket headlines in a while. Here's how kids and adults, parentheses, and adults can learn black studies outside of school. Far left extremist news aggregators, not even news, headline, far left liberal headline, anti-white, anti-Christian, anti-sensible black headline aggregator, female-oriented, female-minded pocket. They kiss up and prop up this outlet called Capital B. And what does this headline say? Here's how kids... Okay, I said that already. Capital B asked scholars, not sensible scholars like, I don't know who's a sensible scholar, but senseless scholars. Capital B asked scholars to tell us what works they think are most critical for a foundation in African American studies. No such thing. Aliyah Wright of Capital B wrote this article. Aliyah Wright. It's a black name, black lady name. And I may be using the term lady a little bit loosely. Capital, where's black studies? And no history without black history. And this is all propaganda against the Republicans. You know, these Republicans, I call them cants because they can't stand up effectively. Just like those based feminists and kiss-ups to women call it internalized misogyny to not stand up against the transgender madness. At least 4 Republican-led states reads this Capital B. And Capital B is kiss up to the capital B in the word black that they did all of a sudden after George Floyd got himself overdosed and maybe partly killed, right? Maybe the cops had a little bit to do with it because they had to arrest him and sit on him because he wanted to get on the ground. Didn't want to sit in the cruiser like a sensible person. He was too scared. He couldn't breathe inside this cruiser, so he couldn't breathe on the ground either. Republican-led states considering whether a new African American Studies course. Oh yeah, that's that AP Advanced Placement Studies thing. I don't have a lot of time, but I covered it in Hake News before. AP Advanced Placement. That's how you get a 5.0 because normally with the straight A's you get a 4.0 in the good old days. But with grade inflation and AP Advanced Placement classes, you can get a 5 for those classes that you get an A in. So Florida got rid of that African American Studies or whatever. AP African American Studies or something. And Arkansas, Mississippi, North Dakota, and Virginia reviewing the advanced placement course to decide whether it goes against new state laws to restrict how issues of race and ethnicity are taught in classrooms. Because they got rid of the CRT propaganda, critical race theory propaganda, and the phony People's History of the United States, Howard Zinn type stuff, pretending America was founded on slavery and genocide, like I've said many times. The College Board, a nonprofit organization that also oversees the SAT test, administers the advanced placement course, which delves into 400 years of black people's contributions to literature, politics, science, and other aspects of American life. Per a program description, 60 high schools nationwide are participating in the pilot version of the course. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' administration rejected the course, calling the content inexplicably contrary to Florida law. College Board released a statement. College Board kisses up to the blacks. I mean, they're getting rid of the SAT because it panders to white or caters to white thinking, white culture, supposedly. They released a statement that condemned the state's ban because the College Board is not objective. They're a bunch of phony intellectuals. And intellectuals are weak and they're kiss-ups. Board also released a revised course curriculum removing contemporary authors in such topics as Black Lives Matter, Scum of the Earth, LGBTQ life. How is that related to the blacks? Well, the blacks are used to push the LGBT. It's a fact, Jack. And the black feminist movement. So they moved that stuff, right? Removed that stuff. So anyway, here's some of the stuff that they're promoting. The autobiography of Malcolm X. Malcolm X, as told to Alex Haley, who wrote that fiction movie, The Roots, didn't he? Isn't that fiction? Something like that. Or Roots? Not The Roots. Isn't that a band? Still so relevant in understanding ways in which black men, and they capitalize the B in the word black to kiss up, and women are treated as second-class citizens. It says Dwana Goldstone, director of African American Studies, sounds like a woman, at Texas State University. Here's the next thing that they're promoting. So they're pushing this for parents to push this on their kids outside of school. African American Studies by Nathaniel Norman Jr., whoever that is. Comprehensive list of essays by black scholars. Blah, 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 blah. African American, you already know it's dumb and bad and stupid. The Souls of Black Folk by W.E.B. Du Bois. You know that light-skinned black? He looks light-skinned. He barely looks black. I can't even tell that he's black, but he is black. Black-hearted, definitely. He rejected being American. He left for, like, Africa. Communist. Light-skin overcompensation, says Nick. Yeah, this guy beefed with the great Booker T. Washington, who wrote Up From Slavery and Character Building, whose book was used by Jesse Lee Peterson in his the Bond Leadership Academy, which was a private school that we ran for some years. Not mentioned by these black people, which is led by black women, capital B program, is Clarence Thomas. Clarence Thomas, I'm sure. But Booker T. Washington, no, they go after this communist guy, W.E.B. Du Bois, who hated America, the limitations, and he hated blacks, to be honest. The legacy of racism, sexism, and classism. Really, did he talk about that stuff way back then? 1903. The autobiography of Frederick Douglass, with 2 S's. The narrative, blah, blah, blah. Because black history and slavery have been sanitized in an effort to allegedly placate the feelings of white students. Not true. All students should read Jacobs and Douglass. Both autobiographies detail the experiences of enslaved men and women. What about Booker T? And I think that Douglass may have, if Frederick Douglass, I have like a mixed impression of him. Like he was fine with segregation, right? He was good with segregation. But he may have had sour grapes toward his slave owner. I think Joe from Phoenix talked about how horrible it was, about how this guy said it was so horrible for his case. Maybe that's his experience. That's not all slaves' experience. There were good and bad slave owners. Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl by Harriet Jacobs. That's the other one. MLK's intellectual predecessor, says Nick. Yeah. Sexual abuse and exploitation by white slaveholders. They're pretending like they were raped by the slave owners. Maybe in some cases they were. I wouldn't doubt that there was perhaps some unchristian people among the slave owners. But, like blacks have been raping whites like crazy comparatively to whites raping blacks like it hardly happens. Oh, they reference A Letter to My Nephew by James Baldwin. James Baldwin, the radical homosexual guy, I think, wasn't he? Sour grapes, angry black. I've seen clips of him. I've played clips of him on the radio on this show before, I think. Their eyes were watching God, a black female. And all that mess. Skip down to 10. Alia Wright of capital B. This is the woman who wrote this thing. Is that her natural hair? Capital B. And that's kissing up to the B, the capital B in the word black. And if you go down to skip down to 13 and like 14 leadership team, it's all females. All female leadership, quote unquote. JLP is right. Destruction. This woman used to write for Vox and Mother Jones and The Root. Trash. Lauren Williams. Jillian White, Akoto Ofari -Ata, co-founder of Capital B. She was previously managing director at the something blah, blah, blah. Essence. She worked for Essence, the black female outlet, I think, magazine. Simone Sebastian. Washington Compost, affirmative action. Co-led the award-winning George Floyd's America project, as well as the Pulitzer Prize finalist coverage of the 2019 mass shootings in El Paso, Texas, and Dayton, Ohio. I forgot about that one. Anyway, so that's the stuff that they're focused on, not getting their own community right. No, let them be out of control. Let's not talk about that. Ridiculous. Shameful. Let me get to Devon, I think is his name, a first-time caller from DEVON. Thank you, man. Thank you, Sean. From San Diego. DEVON, are you there?
Hey, Jake. Hey.
How you doing
today, man?
Fine, thank you.
Oh, man, I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. I just wanted to call in and chime in because I know you be getting a lot of people trying to, get at you, man. I know it's tough out there. I know it's hard out there. And just want to say I appreciate you out there, man. Just coming from a young black man out here just working hard and doing the right thing, man.
Nice, man. Appreciate that. Is caller
yeah,
touch
and,
quiet? I was just asking Nick's a question. Right on. How long you been listening?
I've been on both JLP show and your show for a few months now, man. It's really been a big impact on my life, man. The fact of, I always used to want to do the right thing, but not too many people were doing it, man. And, it feels good to see, a few people out there actually just speaking the truth, man, because for a long time, I was more focused for a long time. Then I went to college and just turned into everybody else, man, for a while. So,
yeah.
And just looking at things now, man, and it's just crazy. People don't do any kind of research, and they just come in here on the show just saying all kind of nonsense. And I just try to think to myself and try to realize how are these people not seeing what's going on? Do they not, read a book or read articles or do anything?
And it doesn't take much reading. It just takes, looking around. If you look at the mainstream media news and you have, eyes to see, at least on this issue, let's say. I'm not talking spiritual eyes to see. Just you can see this issue clearly. You can tell that it's out of control and not what they're telling us, because they show us this thing and then they tell us something that's completely different from what it is.
Well, I always say the allegory of the cave, man. Plato's allegory of the cave. Everybody's chained up in the cave. They're looking at the shadows, and they were told what those shadows look like and what they are. One person gets out and comes back and tells them the truth, and they still won't believe it.
Yeah.
And I've kind of stuck to that story for most of my life, man, because I never could really understand why people are so angry about so many things, but they don't even look at themselves or look what's going on in their day-to-day lives. I've had a lot of conversations with my father about this, man. He's a black man from South Carolina, grew up during certain time periods, seen some things, and he holds on to some things, but gradually, day by day, the conversations we have, he disagrees and agrees with JLP and, some of the viewpoints, and I think he's starting to realize, some of these things are kind of true, and he was in the military for almost 20 years, so he never really dealt with too much after once he got into the military. So I think he kind of have some kind of realization of some of these things. But it's kind of hard to let it go, man, when, you know, it's your family. And I think that's the one thing that I held on to, you know. Oh, well, my family, they're doing this, they're doing that. So it's kind of, it's hard to get away from that that lifestyle thing.
Very true.
And some people just need some time, man. They need some time, maybe a little bit more information
and patience.
You know, hopefully,
That's why
Yeah,
that's why I
definitely.
like how JLP gets to the heart of people's issues rather than arguing over these surface things. Because this is the stuff that I've talked about this whole time is just surface stuff that people just puff up in pride and argue about, and they're not really getting to the heart issue. You're addressing the evil heart and the lack of peace that the people have. Man, I'm sorry to cut you off because I came to you late, but appreciate your call. Call me again, Devon.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Hey, have a great day and a great, wish you well, man.
Thank you. You too. Take care. Man, it made the click. Darn. You know what? I cannot get to the super chats. I'll have to read those tomorrow, guys. I saw them come in on Streamlabs and buy me a coffee and Ko-Fi. And callers, I cannot get to you. JC in Little Rock, Arkansas, wanted to say, how are all people evil? He wanted to ask. And William in California, man, I'll get to you right away next time. Caller tells the truth about resisting arrest. That's Keith in Illinois. Yeah, very true. And thank you, guys. This has been the Hake Report. Let's hear some more low. Yeah, you need to go low with your emotions. This is entitled Canada from the 2002 album Trust. Thanks, guys, and adios, America.
Used to